Hey Facebook, good morning, and it's an amazing Friday morning, ready for talking all things love again today. And I'm really excited to talk about today's topic because it came through this morning for me in a blog post that I wrote that was really powerful as well. So if you're on, please jump on and say hi. I would love to say hello and see who's on here this morning. I've just been out for an awesome morning run, and it was so gorgeous. I love running underneath the stars. I know that sounds crazy, particularly this time of year. But there's something that just makes me feel so alive. So if you're on here, say hi. I'd love to say g'day to you, and g'day, that's very Aussie, isn't it? And have a chat as well and find out what it is that potentially that you've not been allowing through fear, and about allowing more and more love to come into our life as well. So I can't see who's on here yet, but I definitely know that there's some people on here, so it would be great to obviously say hi. Thank you. Lots of love already. Wow, that's amazing. So the topic again that I really want to dive into is about what we block through fear and what we don't allow ourselves to actually have and receive in life simply because of the fear that is actually stopping us. This can come up through, I think there can be a lot of judgment, particularly in Australia, around the tall poppy syndrome, and we don't want to stand out. So there's this fear that if we have too much, or if we have more than others, then, we're bad or we're wrong, or there can almost be this feeling of shame associated with actually wanting more from life or for ourselves. And what this actually does, it keeps us locked into this section of mediocrity as well, which can be really challenging. Hey, lovely to see you, Carolee. I hope that I'm saying that right. I love that this is really aligned for you as well, hun. So please feel free to ask any questions as well. I'd love this to be a really great conversation as opposed to me just kind of sharing my thoughts. So that would be fantastic. Thanks for popping on and saying hi. So definitely allowing love. Hey Emma, it's great to have you on here too, hon. Definitely allowing love to flow more freely in our life instead of that fear coming up and actually blocking us. And I really think this is such an important thing because this really relates to every single area of life, whether it's Carly. Perfect. Hi, Carly. Thank you for explaining. Hi, Donna. Yes. Sorry, I'm having trouble with everyone's names this morning. So it's great to have you on here too, Donna. So feel free to say hi and ask any questions as we move through as well. So basically, what we're actually speaking about is the way that we block things through fear, and we're not actually allowing love to flow through. And I know at times in my own life as well that we can definitely hey Dan, we can definitely get stuck with what we're actually allowing. But not only that, we can also get stuck in striving for and efforting and struggling to really bring more of what we think that we actually need in order to be successful. And there's a real difference in the driving energies behind that as well. So one of the things that I've found is that when I'm in that mode, that's where I'm really efforting and really pushing hard, and which can feel good temporarily, but it definitely leads to burnout, and it leads to exhaustion, and can sometimes also lead to anger and resentment as well, in feeling like we've got to work so hard for what it is that we're actually wanting as well. So hey Nick, and hey Dan. That can be really tricky as well in terms of the amount of effort and the amount of struggle. And when we're really allowing love to flow freely in our life at a deeper level, where we're coming from a place of feeling inspired because we know that that's who we are at our core underneath, and we're tapping more and more into our heart and our soul, then that's where we can really expand on that as well. So I'm just going to read out Carly's question. So the number one recommendation for being okay with making money and letting go of greed. Well, that's a great question, Carly. Thank you. I really think that greed is a judgment of the ego mind. I really don't think that greed exists in the whole world. The greed comes from the illusion that there's not enough. And I really feel, for myself personally, and these are only my beliefs, which are, of course, I'm keen to share, but I'd love to have a dialogue too around this. And I think that that definitely greed is a judgment from the mind that I've got more than what somebody else has. It's kind of, and I wrote this on my blog post this morning, it's the belief that there's only one pie and we all get only one slice. But if somebody's too greedy, they're taking too much of their share of that pie. Now, my belief is that we've all got our own pies, and how big we allow that pie to be is simply a reflection of our own beliefs in what we believe that we deserve or what we believe that we should have, and give ourselves permission to have. And this is where we can really limit even society and even people that are struggling as well in terms of if they're having a hard time and they've got some limiting beliefs, then they can believe, well, this person's got more than what I have, and they can get into blame and resentment and jealousy and a feeling of powerlessness that they've got it all, so I can't have it, there's not enough left. And it is all, I believe, just an illusion of our egoic mind and our survival mind that's trying to survive, and it believes that it needs more of this in order to survive. Where stepping back into our soul, our spirit, our true knowing, our true heart, and when we allow ourselves to really expand on this, it always comes from a place where we are creating constantly. Like, even if you think of the money system, it's ridiculous. All it is just a bunch of numbers in a computer. Really, at the end of the day, I mean, apart from the little pieces of printed paper, if you really do your research around the fiscal system, it is all just an illusion. It's a bunch of numbers being moved from one computer to another. And so we're constantly creating things through our own beliefs and our own thoughts, and our external reflection in the world, the external circumstances in the world is nothing more than a reflection of what's actually going on internally for your own belief system in what you're choosing and allowing to have for yourself. So does that resonate for you, Carly? Like, what are your thoughts on that? Or I'd love to find out. Beautiful. We all have our own pie. I love that. So it's life-changing for you. And big welcome to everyone else that's joined as well. So I definitely think it definitely works as a great analogy for me, simply because I think too, at times we can kind of feel like, and I've definitely struggled with this, and occasionally, it'll still come up, and I need to do some more clarity work around that, or journaling work where I'm letting that go, is that it's uncaring or it's unkind to have more than others. But how do we actually help people? It goes back into if we don't have enough, if we're not taking responsibility, if we're not building that inspiration for ourselves and really allowing ourselves to have what we want, then it's almost like we're getting in the hole with somebody else, and then there's nobody outside of the hole to actually throw us the rope. But we feel like we're all in it together, and we can all suffer together, but we're all suffering. And so it's like, trying to help somebody get healthy. If we're sick, we need to take that responsibility for ourselves. And I truly believe it comes from a place of deep love. But the other thing that I've really realized this morning, hey Tuan, it's great to have you on here as well. Yes, that can definitely be true. So Tuan, I'll just dive back into that. I'm kind of a little bit all over the place here. Tuan's just saying, whenever you're tied to material possessions, then you're imprisoned. Absolutely. If we believe that we actually need something, then it's almost like an addiction, where we're almost stuck in feeling like we need that to be happy, or we need this for a particular feeling. The only reason why we want anything is because of the feeling that we believe that is going to give us, whether it's it's empowerment, whether it's freedom, whether it's more time with our family. So then that would be probably extra love and things like that. So I definitely agree with that. However, there's a difference between needing and allowing. And I truly believe that at the fullest expression of ourselves, it is really allowing ourselves to be, do, and have whatever we want. There's so many references even in the Bible, and I certainly don't want to dive into religious views or anything else here. However, I think that it's so valuable because as a society, we're constantly reinforced. That's wonderful, Carly. Thank you. So I think we're constantly reinforced with messages around, it's not okay. And this definitely comes from the ego or survival mind. At the judgment, it's not okay to have what we want. I think the other part of the ego mind is attachment and aversion. So whereas our soul is free at all times. So we create these identities through the ego mind of who we believe that we need to be, who we believe that we should be, who we need to be in order to fit in. We will dull down things. I know personally I've struggled even from a body image perspective, which I've really started to speaking about even for teenage girls and rolling out my teenage girls program. But a big part of that as well is feeling scared to actually feel beautiful or to feel stunning from fear of judgment. And I know that sounds kind of, and I feel quite vulnerable saying that actually, but it is really true. There's been so many women, and I've even judged women as well, where they're stunningly beautiful and they're such a beautiful person as well, but there's almost like that feeling of jealousy or that feeling like I can't have that. And so therefore we make it wrong for ourselves. And in any area of life, I think if we feel like we've struggled or it's been hard, there can be that facet of judgment on others then, because the mind is constantly wanting to create stories and drama around why we can't have that thing that we really earnestly actually do want deep inside, and it's part of a soul expression, not necessarily like I have to have it to be happy. And I think there's a big difference between that. When we get to the core of who we really are, we pull back all those layers and really explore that. And for me, really peeling back the layers, I'm sure that lots of people have probably heard the expression that fat is nothing more than layers of protection. So the more that we can peel back, the more that we're living from that true centered space within our heart, the more we can really step into that ownership around being our truest self and allowing what we actually do want and what is the truest expression of our soul, as opposed to the ego mind that says you need to be this or you need to be that in order to be loved. And I've certainly lived in that place as well, around body image, where it was like I believed that I needed to be thin and pretty and beautiful in order for somebody to love me, which of course is just a total falsity. But that was what my ego mind was telling me, particularly as a teenager, and definitely well into my 20s and early 30s. So again, we can apply this, like I said at the start, to any area of life. It doesn't matter whether it's money, it doesn't matter whether it's our body image, it doesn't matter whether it's relationships. They seem to be all the fairly big ones for people. But coming back to that place of self-worth, of truly knowing who you are and tapping into what it is that you really, really, really want, and giving yourself permission, not that you need to be happy or that you need material possessions for this or that, but some part of you that would love to experience that and to really express that part of you. I believe at the end of the day that we are all creators, and like what we said before when I was talking to Carly about the pie, we're all creating our own pies, and our external world is nothing more than a reflection of everything that's going on in your ego mind, everything that's going on with your mind and your beliefs and your values. And the more that we do the internal work and really come from a place of absolutely loving and appreciating who we are, not beating up on ourselves, and noticing when there's judgment coming up, either around ourselves or about other people, or about situations or circumstances. Judgment is our ego mind. It separates and divides everything because it's trying to figure out what's good, bad, what's right, wrong, what's up, down. It's trying to figure out what's going to hurt it and what's going to keep it safe. Our ego survival mind is exactly that. It is a tool for survival. It's trying to protect us and keep us safe. So it will do whatever it thinks that it needs to if it feels unsafe. So if up leveling, and I've certainly had this experience where I increased my financial income substantially, and it took a massive leap in 1 month, and instantly it was like my whole system shut it down so fast, simply because it was like alert, alert, alert. It's not safe to be able to create and generate this amount of money from ease and flow. So I've needed to go back and see, okay, what are my blocks? What's stopping me from moving forward? What's stopping me from really allowing this? Because I know at the core of my heart, we are all extraordinarily abundant. It's just what we're actually allowing ourselves to receive and create for ourselves from that place of absolute abundance. And that's, I think, where love comes in, and the only blocks are coming literally from our ego mind and from fear of judgment, fear of rejection, fear of failure, fear of what if I want it and I can't have it, which goes back into that neediness or that clinginess or that addiction of I have to have this thing because otherwise without that thing I can't feel this particular way. And when we come from our soul is filled with peace, I believe, in every moment. And I will grab your comment in a sec, Tuan. But our soul is filled with peace in every single moment. It knows exactly where we are and what we're actually doing at the moment is perfectly imperfect. And I truly believe that when we're tapped into our soul, we really do live from that place of serenity, of definitely more allowing. And when we're living from that place, we're more consciously aligned with the truth of who we are, with that authenticity and that realness, and therefore can help others to find that within themselves as well. If we're stuck in judgment, if we're stuck in fear, and we're blocking ourselves from allowing what we want, we're going to shut that down in other people as well, or at least, certainly not inspire it. And we may be acting a lot more unconsciously as well from fear. So I'm just going to read out Tuan's comment as well. So he doesn't want to preach either, but nature in itself is not perfect, absolutely. But yes, it is, but yet it's beautiful in its own form. We're all different and unique, and that's what makes us beautiful. God created nature, and I'm sure he's probably finishing that comment as well. And I think nature is, you've brought up such a relevant topic as well, Tuan, because nature is so perfect in guiding us. It's constantly in this cycle, and I think that's where we can kind of get tripped up a little bit with our fear as well, because we're constantly growing and evolving, and then allowing ourselves to die in each moment, each yesterday, each moment. When we fully release that, it's like a little mini death, and then we're stepping into the freshness, the newness of now all the time. The problem is that we're actually so attached to the past, or so wanting to feel or we have a sense of aversion to the past, so we don't want to experience that again, that it doesn't allow us to fully release to each moment. And I can put both hands up and say I've done all of this and still, definitely continue to do this at times as well. So morning, John, great to have you on here. And so when we're dying these little mini deaths, we're actually releasing to the moment and letting go of any attachment or any aversion, which again is just the ego and the survival mind trying to hold on to something because it believes it's going to keep it in a certain feeling, or wanting to move away from something because it believes that it's giving it a sense of pain. So when we can really tap into nature and the cycles and just know that every single time that we up level, there's going to be a series of emotions around that, and it's our job to actually align our heart, our mind, and our body. And I quite often, this might sound a little bit funny, but I quite often have a little chat with all three parts of me to make sure that we're all on the same page every morning. My mind definitely has a different plan a lot of the time to what my soul does. It's trying to run the show, it's trying to control situations, it is trying to make things happen. Generally, it's pushing, it's striving, it's efforting. and my gut, my intuitive part as well, which I also call my inner child. It's got this really playful energy, but it also gets really scared as well. And this might sound a bit funny talking about these aspects, but there's all these different aspects and parts of ourselves that when they're in conflict, we literally feel pulled apart and we feel like we can't move forward in a really congruent and aligned way. So I think checking in with these, specifically these three parts, is important. And if there's any other part of you that's going, no, that doesn't feel great, that doesn't feel right, but there's another part of you that wants that, resolving that conflict is one of the greatest things that you can ever do for yourself in being able to bring and manifest and create easily and allow easily whatever it is that you're wanting. So quite often, so just to bring it back to a great analogy that you might all be able to further relate to is, even exercising can be one of those things where your soul knows that you are meant to feel vibrant, you're meant to feel amazing, you're meant to feel radiant every single day. It's like that, oh my God feeling when you wake up, and it's just like, internally, if you're waking up feeling sluggish, it's like, oh, life shouldn't be like this. It shouldn't feel this hard to wake up. And so when we have the idea or the thought of, oh, maybe, exercising would be good, then the mind might argue with that, or the body might argue with that. So the mind's like going, no, you need to go and exercise because it's coming from fear of, being overweight or not being healthy and things like that. Your body's in conflict again around, I'm too tired, I don't want to do this, I don't feel great, all of those things. And the soul will always just be sitting there beautiful and quiet. And this is why I think it's so important to take time out to meditate and to tap into our soul every single day from that true place of love, because it's always just being the fullness of who we are. And that fullness is that radiant expression. It is that vibrance. And when we tap into that, then we can feel inspired, as opposed to feeling like we have to motivate ourselves or push ourselves or drive or control ourselves, which I've definitely done that from a place of almost punishing my body because I didn't feel like it was doing the right thing, and I was quite angry at my body for a period of time as well. So I've mixed obviously lots of different things in this. I hope that's resonated for you guys. Give me some love if it has. Otherwise, yes, we can definitely divert the conversation and change it into something that's more relevant for you guys as well. But I think the more and more, the main point that I was really wanting to get across this morning was definitely about being able to tap further into our heart and really let go of some of those limitations, some of those blocks, some of those fears that potentially, have really been blocking us from living the life that we really want and allowing us to really receive at a high level as well. Thank you for the love. Definitely taking some time out to meditate or journal can be one of those things, but also, like I mentioned at the start, just noticing if there is some judgment that comes up for you around people. I think people are a great reflection of what we're projecting onto others around who they should or shouldn't be, which is really just a reflection of who we should or shouldn't be, and our own internal rules. So we can kind of, with more and more conscious awareness, we can really step into that and look at that as well, which is very, very helpful too. And the more that we have clarity and awareness, then one of the main tools that I actually use is Byron Katie's questions, literally just to ask, is it true? How do I feel when it's true? And how do I feel if I didn't believe the thought? And a lot of the time that is all that I need just to release that and to be able to choose and choose again. And I think that's where affirmations definitely have a lot of power as well, when we're constantly and daily affirming, what is that next level for me? Hey Sheila, what is that next level for me? What is it that I'm truly wanting? Why would I not choose that? Is also another great question. And doing run-throughs on those several times as well, because I think, with the first question that we ask that, or the first time that we ask that question, there can be like surface level stuff. So it's, all the normal stuff. Oh, I fear, people judging me, or I'm worried I haven't got time, or worried I can't do it, or fear of failure, or different things like that. And it's great to have you on here, Sheila. Thank you for the hello. And so the more that we can then also ask at a deeper level and run through again. Thanks, Carly. I really appreciate the message. Hey, James. So the more that we can definitely question, why would I not choose that, and do that deeper stuff. And what I find is that when I go deeper and deeper, and maybe that might take 4 or 5, maybe even 6 or 7 times of running through that question of why would I not choose that, what I find is I hit like something that is so deep and so emotional for me. And I've done this like a lot, definitely around body image. I've done this a lot around relationships. I've done this a lot around definitely increasing my income and monetary things. So all of that, definitely, I would encourage you guys to really just sit and get clear, just tap into. I find putting my hand on my heart really anchors me back into my body and gets me out of my head. And thinking, what is it if I could really allow anything that I was absolutely wanting into my life? What would that be? And then ask yourself the question, why would I not choose that? And this will really help to clear like a lot of limiting beliefs, and doing this with a playful, lighthearted energy. I said that I actually go until I cry or feel very, very emotional about the answers that are coming up, simply because I know that I've hit the core of the issue at that point, or gone as deep as what I need to at that point. But it's also being curious with it. So don't get stuck in the drama around this going, oh my God, oh, this is awful, and why would I think that? And don't get too caught up with that. It is what it is. And when we can go, oh, right, okay, well, that's kind of interesting that will come up, or be playful and lighthearted with it, we can definitely let go of that like a lot quicker, a lot easier, and then just choose to affirm what you now choose to believe. Changing our beliefs can simply be as simple and easy as that. We don't have to make it a big, hard, arduous process where we're really stuck into, and I've definitely done this at times where I've been so caught in trying to fix things as opposed to just focus on what I want and go for that. And I, get lost in, well, why did that happen? And when did that happen? And when did I take on that belief? And who, what was the story around that? And all of that. Yes, totally, Carly, bogged down in head stuff. And my head loves to overanalyze. It loves to seek and understand why and all of those things, because it thinks that it can then help other people through that process, which I think there is definitely value in that on some degree, potentially, just to really understand. It fascinates me how our mind works and all of that. So I'm always kind of seeking to understand. But if we really tap into the real truth and just get back in touch with our soul knows the ultimate truth, and so it can give us the answers immediately as to what our real ultimate truth is and what we're really wanting. Absolutely. Definitely a Tony fan by the sounds. So I think that's absolutely important. Where focus goes, energy flows. So when we're stuck on why is it not working, or why is it not working, I've said the same thing, but why are we still where we are? It's because we're focused on where we are. We're not looking to where we want to go, and then what needs to happen. What is our next aligned step from a place of flow and alignment and love, as opposed to, oh my God, now I need to make this happen, and getting stuck in the mind stuff of striving and efforting and struggling and motivated, as opposed to, oh my God, I just feel so inspired. This is my next thing. And this is where my Teenage Girls program was just such an incredible download for me. And I feel truly inspired. There is no effort. There is no struggle with this. The universe has supported me so magnificently, coming from that place of flow where I've had a newspaper article, I've had TV promotions as well, which has just been so amazing. And it just goes to show, and so many people have really jumped on board and supported me within that message. Totally. Thank you, Carly. It's lovely to have met you on here, hon. So it really does come back to that flow and that place of just tapping into our heart, getting out of our head, and really allowing ourselves, noticing when judgment comes up. If judgment comes up, just go, oh, that's interesting. Looks like I'm kind of judging that. What am I not allowing for myself from this space as well? So I hope that's been truly helpful for you guys. I've really appreciated the feedback as well too, Carly. Sometimes it can kind of be challenging to know whether we're kind of hitting the mark and chatting about what's really relevant. And so I really love the interaction. I really appreciate it so much. So I'm also still running my daily gratitude group as well. So if anybody's keen, definitely jump into that. That will be an ongoing thing, although we are running a 10-day, thanks to Aunt, 10-day gratitude challenge to really inspire people to step up to that next level and to have the courage as well to share their thoughts, their beliefs, and to really start to pull back some of those layers that we can all create in some of those masks. And so the more that we can actually do that as well, I think that that's really powerful. And thanks, Carly. And thank you, Sheila. And I'm really excited. Thank you to Anne. Wow, lots of great comments coming here through, guys. So I'm really excited as well. I'll be unleashing the Power of Gratitude course coming up shortly, and jumping further into doing our Teenage Girls program and rolling that out within the next 3 to 4 weeks. So got lots to focus on, lots to bring through, and have a magnificent day, guys. I really appreciate chatting with you and your time and space and energy in aligning with and chatting with me today as well. So lots of love and blessings. Have a magnificent day. Bye for now.